Oh, here's an email that I sent to Bill Blair and all of the provincial premiers. Here's some merchandise if you want a friendly reminder of how men behave. More products coming soon. And then my link. This is a bold move. Let's look at the positive. Pretty industrious for someone that has a disability, is challenged with poverty, homelessness, and being non-touch tortured. The products featured are statements and facts. Men do need reminding in the neo-medieval era because, let's be real, Canada's economy only functions because we have welfare and child sex terrorism. With rising prices and OHIP paying for slaves to be tortured and slaughtered needlessly, we need a new shtick. In Doug Ford's reign as premier, has seen child sex terrorism increase, homelessness increase, economic ruin, no rent control, rising costs, and rise in debt load. Ontario is in $350 billion in debt as of 4 years ago. That's the largest sum of any state, provincial government, and municipal government in the globe. Could there be a Greece of South America in Ontario's future? The polls have switched. Canada equals South America. Who do you think will bail us out? Now, that needs some explaining. So the polls have shifted where South is now North and North is now South, which is how they're going to convince us all of a. Oh, look, I can see myself in this. This is great. I like this. Um. Okay. Um. So essentially, it's how they're going to convince us of climate lockdowns and the climate going to schmutz because of this switch that I read about. I didn't realize until I started seeing the temperature in Toronto change. Now, so that's one thing. And we'll all be like, "Oh my God, it's just a climate. We've destroyed it so much." No, it's because there is a natural switch that happens every millions of years, and one just happened to take place. So now I read on. During the election debate here in Ontario, Doug Ford was talking about economy lightly. He did not go into much detail. How about we become self-reliant? Bring manufacturing back to the country. Take, for example, we could produce all of what we need to supply the medical system with almost everything it needs and also sell overseas. We could decrease the cost of healthcare and drive economic success. Such initiatives have the potential to create 100,000 or more jobs across the country. Great, great essential, great essential healthcare. Great, healthcare is essential. We pay for it, and it is what drives most provinces into debt. Rip up the current contract and stop buying products made in other countries. We can produce all we need. We pay for it, right? Why are we basing it off a US price point? Doctors wield too much power over our lives anyways. We can reevaluate the cost of healthcare, create laws bypassing health contracts somehow, in brackets, tear them to shreds. We have so much potential and untapped potential. The status quo in our education is failing us. On a side note, Saskatchewan building a huge refinery and a direct pipeline to BC ports could produce the cleanest, highest grade fuel emitting the lowest CO2 possible, and a whole bunch more. Considering if we lowered environmental standards to compete and increase our CO2 output, we would still have zero effect on the globe's net carbon emissions. We could have Costa Rica sending their oil to Canada and manufacture and buying back at an increased rate. We then would harvest and sell. We would harvest, and I'm going to say this because I have some spelling mistake. We could then harvest our raw materials and sell them to the world at 15 times the price. We would have good paying jobs for everyone. Incredibly, it would increase the Canadian economy and protect our currency from dips in the price of oil. Heck, we even have the third largest reserves in the world. Last time I checked, the world will be buying made in Canada. The world will be buying made in Canada. China relies on our commodity-rich land so they can produce items we buy as manufactured goods. We can compete with China and have China buying from us. We would all be employed at higher wages with benefits and a new type of union fees being $2. Here's a thought. Do you think oil can be made out of the remains of dead slaves, including animals? I wonder sometimes why they stop griping about the oil running out of the Middle East. Geez, our food is already composed of dead people, tortured or terrorized animals and slaves. Most often, slaves are children. The industry's proclivity is babies, remember? We have an abundance of natural resources, and from my comprehension, have numerous holdings in other countries. Back the currency with gold. We could do that by what we have in the ground. Picture the loonie valuing equal its weight in gold. That would increase our buying power dramatically, immediately reverse inflation and drive down prices. This then then cease the tax on the tax, carbon tax, to lower costs even further. If you want crazy, we could, Canada, become the bank and start a new financial system based on a gold, silver, copper, material based cash material slash cash slash barter system. If we backed our currency by gold and every other currency by commodity, we save the whole globe from privately owned international banks. If we did this, we can value different currencies by different commodities and determine what the currency's value is, i.e., back ours with gold in the US and silver. That's a far out idea. It all seems so easy, but we can all become master builders. Lego Movie Cultural Reference. We can collaborate to innovate away from our concentration camp future. Note, if interested, you cannot purchase items yet as I need to verify and do and to do that I need ID. And the purpose is not to make money. The purpose is to prove a point. Let's save the planet. Just happy there are images up for people to see homelessness. Homelessness is a challenge, and when the city can remove all your belongings within 30 minutes